Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gen Y Investor. So no jokes or much special effects or anything like that today. I'm more so focusing on content, so there won't be any slides. I've written a couple of pages of notes here that I'll just be looking down and referring to at stages, but I really wanted to talk about this crypto crash, and in particular Bitcoin down around 30% over the past 5 or 6 days. I wanted to discuss that and where I think it might be heading and what might be profiting as a result in the future. So yeah, really on the back of what I spoke about in my last video was Elon Musk pulling out the ability to use Bitcoin as a payment method for his Tesla products. Said something along the lines, his direct quote was like, while I support and endorse cryptocurrencies and like the idea of them, it can't be at the expense of the environment. So it makes sense, sort of coincides with what I've been saying over the past few months that yeah, cryptocurrencies really need to adopt a more efficient way of operating. Proof of stake is one, and then we'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, and then we also were sort of as a double whammy, double catalyst. China reiterated its stance on cryptocurrencies. The People's Bank of China said cryptocurrencies seriously violate people's asset safety and disrupt normal economic and financial order. Yeah, so that was from the People's Bank of China. Again, we're going to go into that a little bit deeper a bit later because there's quite a few interesting things going on there. But I just wanted to first of all take a little back step in history so we can maybe work out where we might be going as a result of this whole saga. So I quite often talk about Bitcoin not really being able to move with the times and adapt to change. That's not necessarily true. I haven't spoken a lot about forks. There's soft and hard forks. I mean, basically, it's changing the code. A fork can change the code. It's quite difficult for Bitcoin to do this though, and we'll talk about the block wars that occurred back in around about 2015. So to start with, Satoshi, the dude who created Bitcoin, initially created it with a block size of 1 megabyte. So when you get a certain amount of transactions, blah, 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 one block gets built and then another one and another one. The maximum size of one block was 1 megabyte. Now, this runs into that whole sustainability issue that I've been talking about for quite a while. It really slows down transactions when you have to create a new block each time. Slows it down quite significantly. So around 2015 we had this big movement, this big push to sort of overthrow and increase the block size. So it was firstly proposed to increase it to 20 megabytes, and then it's sort of the miners sort of bargained that down to 8 megabytes and the discussion began. A fella called Mike Hearn in 2015, he proposed a hard fork. So there's hard forks and soft forks. Hard forks is like a radical change where miners must choose which blockchain to verify. It sort of splits it in two. And a soft chain is basic. A soft fork is just like you're going to create one new blockchain, one direction to go in. That's oversimplifying things, but yeah, don't get too caught up in that details. So yeah, Mike Hearn, this fella in 2015, proposed a hard fork. And then he was actually ridiculed quite a bit for that. People started calling him a dictator. He wanted to change it to a block size of 8 megabytes. And then again, a fella brought out a little bit more of a conservative plan. Jeff Garzik, his name was. This was also rejected. He wanted to bring out block sizes to change from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte and just wanted to bring it out straight away and let's get it done. But yeah, also rejected by the majority of the Bitcoin community. And then, yeah, I mean, more and more went on. So then another one was 4 times the block size. They wanted it to 4 megabytes, but an increase through a soft fork. And this went on for several years. It ended up finishing around about 2017 and sort of all just got pushed under the bridge. But yeah, at the end of the day, you'll see today that the Bitcoin Bitcoin block size is still 1 megabyte. So it's going to be very interesting to see where Bitcoin and I guess inevitably all the other cryptocurrencies head from here. Sort of feels like on one side you've got the mainstream media really pushing for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to, adopt a more environmentally friendly type approach to their operations. And then you've got sort of the inner communities and the Bitcoin miners really pushing back at that and really resistant to any sort of change. And why would they change, to be honest? Like 95% of the Bitcoin mining is done by the 6 biggest mining pools. They're making a huge amount of Bitcoin or money or whatever you want to call it. Huge amount of Bitcoin. You change to proof of stake, it's going to take a lot of that away from them. So they've really got no incentive to change. And something like the block war is probably a more viable and realistic change, and that failed even. So even if a 51% attack was forced, I don't think proof of stake would ever get over the line with Bitcoin. People just seem too happy with proof of work, and I think it's too far gone to pull it back, which is probably not a bad thing. I mean, that proves that it's sort of a really secure product, and it's resilient to change and can't be manipulated and whatnot. That's another thing that people are complaining about, the security. We're not complaining about the sort of the Bitcoin miners and the inner communities are saying that that if we change all this, it's not secure anymore. So I guess that leaves us with a couple of other options, and we've seen in Norway one of these be utilised quite a bit. They're creating these big wind farm and solar farm and hydro farms and whatnot to sort of make the mining a little bit more environmentally friendly. Major problem I see with that is like Bitcoin mining's a 24/7 operation, so when it's night time and things like that, you're gonna have issues, especially with solar. If the energy is required elsewhere for society, the mining can't be paused. So there are a few issues there. And then we obviously, with the final option, we turn back to altcoins, which I'm really pushing for. Being a little bit disappointing, the fact that they've sort of followed Bitcoin's downtrend, and some of them haven't really risen in Bitcoin's ashes. But I'm still hopeful. I think they'll respond. We might be in for a dormant period for quite a while, and we might see further losses. But yeah, I just can't see the Bitcoin community budging on much. So yeah, like I've said in the previous few videos, if we want to create a more environmentally friendly global cryptocurrency, we're probably going to need to look towards alternative coins like ADA and Cardano. Something that I harp on about, but I think that's the general message of this video as well. But as always, best of luck investing, and hopefully no one got hurt too bad with everything that's been going on. And thanks for tuning in. If you're stuck around, be sure to give this video a like and comment below with your thoughts. Thanks, guys.